Good afternoon. May the Lord give you peace. Amen. So the company that runs the computer program for live streaming, it's been broken the last couple of days, and God bless our friend Rosary Joe Jr. Hello, everyone. We're back on the internet. Yesterday, I gave the best homily of my life. Sorry you missed it. How's that for being an arrogant apostle? We're arguing who's the greatest, wow. My friends, welcome back. The Book of Sirach, every day, the Book of Sirach till Lent. And this passage in particular, there are two things that are so powerful. So the first one is the opening of chapter 2. If you want to serve the Lord, prepare yourself for lots of fun. Trials. Prepare yourself for trials. So there I was, 1996, the Bronx, New York City, and it's the day of investiture. March 4th, we received our habit. So there's a ceremony, and they say to you, in the world, you are known as such and such, but now in religion, you'll be known as Brother Luke Mary of Tipton, and you receive a new name, you receive the habit of St. Francis, and you're not in vows yet. The vows come at the end of November, but now canonically you are a member of the religious community, and we had Mass and breakfast, and then immediately you go on retreat. So this is your first retreat as an official card-carrying Franciscan friar, and I'll never forget our retreat, the first conference of our first retreat, this passage. So the priest who was our retreat master is now deceased, Father Robert Stanion, one of our founders, a complete and totally unique individual. They broke the mold after they made him. He is the one, there is no other. And he begins by quoting this passage. We're new, we're fresh, we're wet behind the ears, we're zealous and excited to give everything away for Jesus, just like St. Francis. And here you get this, are you ready to suffer? Are you ready for trials? And all these years later, there's this memory of the first conference of my first retreat as a early Franciscan. There it is, and I'll never forget, what he told us in that conference. As the years have gone on, that conference has come back to me so many times. I don't know that there's been a single day with no trials. Not a single day with no trials. And so there it is. So the truth about trials, that faith perspective, this same passage asks the oracle question, which is so challenging. Has anyone ever hoped in the Lord and been disappointed? Well, the answer kind of is yeah. Over the years, I, in my own way, and in people I've ministered to in some big ways, had real hopes for God to heal somebody or to change something, and it didn't happen, and they felt so disappointed. A temptation against faith, or what happened, and did I do something wrong, or is God, are you asleep? Where are you? So there are those moments, but the way that the scriptures can tell us that no one who hopes in the Lord will ever be disappointed, it's because of the eternal perspective. That when we finally get to heaven, even the most nightmarish day here will look differently. We'll see things so differently. The sufferings and trials that we go through, even some really big ones, if borne with patience and prayer, offered to the Lord. You may be in the midst of a storm. I don't understand right now, but I know there will be a day in the future when what doesn't make sense now will make sense later. And that's the eternal day of heaven, when everything will be in the light of God's glory. And so it is true to say no one who hopes in the Lord will ever be disappointed in eternity. So there it is. And so the trials, my friends, are actually so good for us. And I don't know that any one of us are in a place where we love the trials or we ask for more trials. Somebody said, is it St. Rita? Somebody, if you pray to her, you get an extra trial on top of whatever grace. You won't find any of her holy cards in my breviary. Okay, sorry, St. Rita. I love you, but I love you from afar. Okay, So this story from the Book of Sirach is coupled with this very embarrassing moment Jesus is trying to teach the apostles about, I'm going to be crucified and die, and on the third day raise. And then they're not even hearing him because they're too busy arguing with each other about who's the greatest, So that moment shines a particular light on what Jesus is doing on the cross, This moment of Jesus offering everything on the cross, this incredible moment of service and humility, and it's juxtaposed with people arguing about who's the greatest, like the pecking order, get in line, and so they're the opposite. What was going on in Jesus' heart at the moment he offered himself was the opposite of this arrogant, And so what can we do? We all have it, We all have selfishness and sin and imperfections, and what can we do? Well, the trials can help us. The trials, our sufferings, our crosses can help us to become less like that and more like Jesus. Less selfish, more selfless, a pure love that, we're not serving and loving people because what we can get back, that's very human, but rather this kind and loving and pure love. And then the Lord does something shocking. He's like, and if you want a role model, hand me that baby, become like a little child. But also, if anyone, parents here who have children, does the experience of raising children humble you? So I'm told. So there's something there too. No offense to the children here. We love you, okay? Try to behave. But there's even something in the catechism about on marriage, and it says something, I should have looked it up, something to the effect of that children contribute greatly to the sanctity of their parents. And so in the perspective of eternity, let's thank God. Let's thank God. Our trials, our difficulties, even if they have names, in the light of eternity, these things actually are all blessings, okay? They're blessings. Lord, help us. Help us to grow. Probably we might be having a conclave soon, right? It looks like the Holy Father's getting ready to go to God. And so I wondered if this gospel, as the cardinals are talking and discerning and praying, I've been friends with 4 cardinals, and really actually underneath those fancy robes, there's some pretty normal guys, and you wonder, what's the process, as they're getting ready to select the next Holy Father, it might be soon. They're all saying Mass today, so they're all hearing this gospel, and rumor has it they're already talking with each other, that the Lord speaks this word, we need somebody who's like Jesus, somebody who's humble and a servant and who's none of this ladder climbing or St. Francis used to tell us if any of the friars want to be in charge, don't let them, you don't want that type of person, rather it should be somebody kind and loving and humble and holy and et cetera, et cetera. But to conclude, it is our trials that can help us. It's the truth about trials. Born with faith, patience, suffering, hope will never be disappointed, especially in the light of eternity. Amen.